Most people think collapse is about food, bullets, and gear. But after 25 years on the streets, I can tell you, most people will survive the disaster and then collapse anyways. Not because they're weak, not because they're unprepared, but because they build the wrong kinds of community. And when that happens, trust erodes, violence creeps in, and people get hurt. Or even worse, they get buried in unmarked graves while the system turns a blind eye. This is a warning, and it's also a blueprint, because I've lived through the failure, and I've seen what actually works. I was biking through Gainesville, Florida during hurricane season, just trying to find shelter like everyone else. I landed outside Grace Marketplace, where a lot of people were camping. There were 7 or 8 of us in our crew. At first, it worked. We had tents, some food, a little order. But then the drama started. See, when you've got women in tight quarters with broken men, sometimes they stir up conflict just to feel the power. It's like when a kid says, "My dad could beat up your dad." But in collapse, it turns into fights and fractures. The women started power games, trying to turn the men against each other. But we were hip to this. We weren't new to this. If you've been on the streets for more than a month, you already know. Any woman still out there is carrying more trauma than most men can handle. She's not stable, she's not safe, and if you're smart, you don't play her games. So we weren't fighting over them, but their chaos did bring some tension. And when the old crew rejoined us, it was like bringing fuel back to the fire we just put out. Then it happened. One guy, fresh out of prison for taking someone's life, he snapped. He thought someone had stolen his stuff. He'd asked one of the ladies to do his laundry, then accused her of stealing from him. He pulled a knife out and went full-on psycho. Some people froze. You could feel the fear tighten in the air, but I stayed calm like I usually do. I got everyone, especially the women, out of the way. I did talk to him. I didn't challenge him. I didn't mock him. Just helped him see the truth, that he was out of line, that he was acting like a fool. He backed down, but after that, I never slept the same. Because when someone like that flips once, you always wonder if they'll do it again. And he was the type to sneak into your tent while you were asleep. That's when I learned, you can't save everyone, and you damn sure can't protect a group without any type of structure. Not every group I ran with did fall apart. There was a time I was learning to ride trains. Fresh off my first hop from Cincinnati to Nashville, that's where I met Slack and Fishbone. They'd been riding together for over 2 years, and when they found me, they saw it as a chance to show someone new how it's actually done. Almost like recruiting the next generation. We rode together from Nashville to a CSX yard down in Georgia, and what stood out wasn't just the journey. It was how they functioned as a unit. Slack didn't mind panhandling. He was actually good at it. He even taught me. If they needed something, he'd find a way to get it. But if he came up short, Fishbone would step up. 5-finger discount if he had to. Because in their minds, the crew ate together or not at all. They weren't the same type of guy, different personalities, different skills, but they respected each other's space, trusted each other's roles, and moved like a body in 2 parts. They picked up new people here and there, but only when these people respected the rhythm. No freeloaders, no ego. It was a neighborhood on wheels, and it worked really well. Because it wasn't built on fantasy, it was built on functionality. So after everything I've seen, from failed camps to functional crews, I can tell you exactly why most post-collapse communities will fail. And more importantly, how to build one that won't. So rule number 1, you need leadership. Real leadership. Even if it's just a verbal agreement around the campfire, there has to be some sort of structure. And also someone the group respects enough to follow. When there's no leader, a power vacuum forms. And the vacuum always pulls in the worst type of people. Number 2, you need a plan for drama, danger, and decisions. Someone's going to show up to your camp. Someone's going to start a fight. Someone's going to break down and accuse someone else of stealing. And then what happens? Who decides what to do? If you don't have an answer before the fire starts, your camp's already burned down. Number 3, you need to respect each other's rhythms. Puckett and I were different. He was on the white stuff, I was on the green stuff. But we respected each other. He stayed quiet at night when the rest of us slept. I gave him space when he needed to ride out a binge. That's what survival looks like in close quarters. Noise discipline, respect, and knowing your place in the group. And choosing not to make your lifestyle someone else's problem. Look, collapse isn't coming, it's already here. It just hasn't reached your doorstep yet. The systems are riding, safety nets, they've got holes the size of city blocks. And most of the people who think they're ready are just hoarding gear and calling it a plan. But gear doesn't build trust, and stockpiles don't build leadership. What's coming will test your soul, and if you build wrong, you lose everything you thought you were protecting. So this video isn't just a warning, it's a blueprint. If you've got people around you right now, start building structure. Figure out who leads, figure out what happens when drama shows up, figure out who stays and who goes when things get dark. Because the future won't belong to the strongest. It will belong to the most cohesive, the ones who built something real, while everyone else played make-believe. Download my free Collapse Community Blueprint. And if you're serious about building a parallel system that lasts, sticks around, because this is just the beginning. So thank you for being here, Rebels, and I will see you tomorrow in the next video.